All right, welcome back to Season 2 of Tales of the Ducktales. This is episode 16. It's called Scroogerello. I didn't get what the name meant the whole time. Figured it out later. Starts Scrooge. He's got a little cold. He's feeling under the weather. So, of course, his nephew fries an egg on his head. So then Scrooge, he's all dizzy and crazy. He's decides to kill himself. So he's going to walk out this window. So the boys go to push him out. And they just manage to get him in bed, and they slap his hot water bottle on his head. He's got these weird little eyeballs. Looks like the fat Cenobite from Hellraiser. Duckworth decides to give him some medicine. Scrooge, he slaps it in his face. And Mrs. Beakley tells him he's got to take it easy, so just put on some TV. So there's this weird duck that has gigantic boobs, and she's crying. So Scrooge passes out. He gets 2 boners. You can see him there, and then he gets full release. Right as he's climaxing, Webby walks in. She's got this little bowl of soup. She throws it on his crotch, and then he shows his teeth. Did some research after this episode, found ducks have teeth. So then Webby starts to read him this. I've got the giggles tonight, folks. Anyway, he gets the story, so he starts getting suspicious. Anyway, it's about this castle. Scrooge, he turns tiny, and he falls into the picture. Ducktales crotch shot. His eyes go wonky. The Beagle Boys are here. One of them's dressed like he's a disco guy. He starts straddling this pole. And then he tells Scrooge to wash all his shoes. So he throws them down. He's got 100 pairs of the same shoes. And he throws Boulder on him. Glongold shows up, pisses in a bucket. It's at this point I figure out Scroogerello is supposed to mean Cinderella. So Scrooge climbs up this vine, finds out that the Beagle Boys trying to keep him hid because there's this girl named Goldie. She's having a ball. She's going to find her suitor. It's basically Cinderella. So the disco one shows his crotch. Scrooge slips and falls to his death. He falls in this wheelbarrow. They put his body in there, and they're gonna bury him in the basement. So they throw him down there, and then they close 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 doors. They're all just stacked in front of each other. It makes perfect sense. They're not hinged or anything. So Huey, Dewey, and Louie show up for no reason. They're in the basement cleaning shoes. Duckworth's there, still got his medicine. Never learned his lesson. He's no teeth. This little pixie shows up. She turns him into Smiling Joe Fusion. And Webby shows up. She's in a tutu dress. They make his hat gold. They make his outfit gold. He's all stoked. Webby said she wants to get on it. She blasts some magic. Her old pentagram turns a box of cookies into a cookie car and suits. Then he gets in the back with a gold suit on. And folks, it's at this point I'd like to point out that if you pause this on your DVR and somebody else walked in the room and looked at what you were watching, you would have a very hard time explaining yourself. Or even the show. Imagine trying to catch someone up on that. So anyways, they go to his castle. Everybody there is dressed the same. So there's this bird with then the Beagle Boys show up. She puts a stick out. The king is the inventor. So the Beagle Boys start killing people. They kill this guy. They drown him in soup. They drown him in punch. And they drown him in water. The next 2 guys get pushed their deaths out the window. So the Beagle Boys imply that they're going to sexually assault Goldie. But then her eyeballs turn into hearts and pop out of her head because she sees Scrooge in a gold suit. He gets heart eyeballs as well. They float up in the clouds and dance. Beagle Boys are jealous. They're staring up at the sky. Then a cloud lands on them on it. So apparently it wasn't like a dream sequence. They actually did float up into the clouds. So then the King Idiot with his pinwheel declares them married, and then Glongold shows up. He's got these angry horses. They kidnap Goldie. She forces an entire foot-long sandwich into that fat dog's face. So they race by this church. Clock strikes 12. Cookie dough starts to melt, and Scrooge starts crying. He looks very real to me for some reason at that point. Like if he existed in reality, that's how he'd look. Like his hands are drawn and everything. Launch pad, lily pad. Oh, God damn it. Shows up. He's a frog. It's launch pad, but he's a frog now. Says he's going to take him to the castle. I don't even remember the frog in Cinderella. Then these hedges come to life, and then they rip off Alice in Wonderland Golden Afternoon part, these flowers. And the hedge maze burns down. Frog gets him there. He makes a joke about all these bills. They're not even his bills. I don't know what he's worried about. He obviously didn't have any. So Scrooge opens the door like anyone does by pushing and pulling at the same time. So they get inside, and the Beagle Boys turn into bulls. They're the bulls now, Bugle Bulls, and they beat up Lily Pad. Beagle Bulls come in, fall to their deaths. They can't swim. They're doomed. So anyway, Goldie comes out. She's got the hat. She starts having suitors try it on. This fat duck doesn't fit. And then there's this hillbilly duck with 2 pigs. They're not humanoid pigs. They're just actual pigs. Clips it on his head, thinks he's smart. He mugs, but then he gets thrown into a tree. And then this guy shows up. He thought he was waiting in line to see a movie, so there's a joke there about how horrible movie lines are. Goldie about gives up. She comes across this dizzy-eyed duck, jumps out of the bushes, puts a hat on him, changes into a gold, and she realizes she loves him because he wears gold. So then the Beagle Boys, they're dogs again for some reason, kidnap Scrooge, and that's when he realizes he had been dreaming the whole time, and he wakes up, tells his help he's going to murder him, and then he does, and then he says, "No one saw me do this except for you, statue of Goldie, but you're not real, so this will never be told." And he touches the statue for a long time, his hat turns back to gold. So it's like the ending's like, it was a dream, or was it? So it's basically the end of Nightmare on Elm Street Part 1. If Nightmare on Elm Street Part 1 was written by a complete stupid idiot, and there's no point to this. Welcome back to Season 2. Man, I'm glad I came back.